Hey guys, why is being a scuba diver one of the hardest jobs in the world? Because they deal with the most pressure.
It's time for Science Tomorrow with Beaker and Bunsen.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Science Tomorrow. I'm Bunsen.
And I'm Beaker.
And today we're learning all about pressure.
But Bunsen, what is pressure?
Pressure is one of the most important forces on the planet. We use pressure every day. It's the reason we're able to drink water out of a straw or fly massive planes through the skies. Pressure is what pushes down on us when we go for a swim. It's what keeps our cars moving through air pressure in tires, and it even allows us to breathe. We owe a lot of what we have to pressure.
Okay, but what is it?
Well, pressure is a force exerted on an object. Simply put, pressure is involved in most of our interactions with things on Earth. Take this balloon, for example. I got it, buddy. See, when you blow air into a balloon, and tie it off, the air pushes on all sides of the balloon and makes it bigger and bigger until it's in the shape of the round, blown up ball of thin rubber that we all know and love. Oh.
And now it's time to take a little look at the history behind the science.
Who discovered pressure?
Well, that's a great question, Beaker. The first person to realize that pressure acts on an object was a man named Galileo Galilei, who was born and went to school in the small city of Pisa, Italy.
Did you say pizza?
No, not that kind of Pisa. This is a city we're talking about. As I was saying, Galileo is considered the father of science, and his work on planets and stars has earned him a place among other great scientists in history. At the same time he was making observations about the craters on the moon's surface, a problem was brought up to Galileo that he was fascinated by. He discovered that when trying to pump water at a depth of 10 meters, the water would stop, unable to come up to the surface. This was because of pressure. Galileo's physics whiz friend, Evangelista Torricelli, discovered that atmospheric pressure was the culprit for the unmoving water in the well. Torricelli invented a device called a barometer, which allows someone to accurately measure pressure in the atmosphere. A few decades later, a brilliant mind from France fully described the mysterious force that confused Galileo and Torricelli. Blaise Pascal, whose last name describes the metric unit of pressure, noticed that pressure acting on a fluid is the same overall. He developed Pascal's law, which is one of the most groundbreaking discoveries with pressure ever made. For all the viewers at home, it's important to remember to wear safety equipment when performing an experiment like this. And please be sure to have an adult with you at all times.
Science Tomorrow with Beaker and Bunsen.
Pressure can be demonstrated with this bottle and mallet. When the bottle is filled to the neck with water and hit with the mallet, the pressure goes to the bottom of the bottle, which has the most surface area, because water is not compressible. In other words, as Pascal says in his law, the force is distributed over the fluid equally. These three scientists just mentioned were the first people to observe and describe the forces of pressure, and the world is better and more advanced because of them. Fast forward about 400 years, and scientists are now using pressure to make groundbreaking progress in countless aspects of life.
So pressure is pretty important.
Not only is it pretty important, but it can be super cool too. Take this funnel and ping pong ball, for example. Now, Beaker, I want you to put the ping pong ball in the funnel and try to push it out of the funnel by blowing air through the smaller end.
Why won't it move? I'm trying as hard as I can.
Allow me to explain. This is because when you blow air through the funnel, the air you blow into the funnel is around and above the ball. The result is a low pressure area coming about under the ball. The reason it stays stationary is because the pressure of the air above the ball is greater than under, so it stays right where it's at.
How cool.
It really is. In fact, there is pressure acting on us right now, Beaker.
How does that work?
Take this can for example. You put boiling water in the can and ice water in the glass bowl, and then you flip the can upside down into the glass bowl. The pressure crushes the can.
Wow, how in the world did it do that?
Well, placing the can inside the cold water caused the water vapor from the boiling water to quickly condense. The remaining gas became much smaller water molecules. Since no air can enter and fill the empty space inside the can, the pressure in the can is lower than outside of it, causing it to crush in on itself, as you saw.
That's amazing. Hey, I've got an idea. How about we take a trip outside?
What do you have up your sleeve?
Science Tomorrow with Beaker and Bunsen.
Okay, we're outside. What did you want to show me?
So if what you're telling me is true, that condensing warm water causes the pressure to be lower inside the can. That means that the pressure difference created that crush that we saw. So in theory, we could do this on a much bigger scale.
I mean, yeah, but how would you do that?
Well, there's a steel drum sitting over there.
Where in the world did you get a steel drum?
Bunsen, you're asking way too many questions.
Okay. What are you planning on doing, though?
Making this drum blow up. Duh, go get something we can lower this drum into that pool with.
Where in the world did you get that pool?
Don't worry about it.
Wow! How in the world did you think of this?
It's pretty simple. Now it seems like you're the one under pressure. That was amazing. I learned so much about pressure and how it works.
Thank you all for joining us today. We hope you learned a lot about pressure too. Tune in next time for Science Tomorrow with Beaker and Bunsen.
Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.
Bye!
Bye.
Science Tomorrow with Beaker and Bunsen.